what is the key to being a good heel in your mind?
Yeah, totally. I think one of the biggest keys, especially on the independents, is two things. I think it's an unselfishness, and I think it's a trust in your own abilities. And what I mean by that is I think there's a lot of heels, who work for WWE who are so good at what they do because they have this security blanket, knowing that they're under contract and they're making good money, so they're not afraid to completely get into that heel mindset because they know that money is coming in and they know what their job is. Whereas now on the independents, it's so interesting because there's a lot of promoters now who book guys and they'll book you as a heel. And a real heel is someone who's completely hated by everyone in the audience. But a lot of promoters, if they book you as a heel, will say, oh, he didn't get over, or oh, the crowd didn't like him, so they don't want to bring him back. So a lot of heels get into this mindset where they're booked as heels, but they wrestle as baby faces, and they do all this cool stuff and try to get themselves over because they want bookings and they want to make money. So it's this interesting, never-ending circle that some guys run into. But what I'm saying about being a good heel, about being unselfish, is completely making your story about getting that baby face over. Like my feud with Sami Callihan and CZW, that whole point of what we were doing was just furthering how over Sami was getting in CZW. My whole goal was to make me look like I was so afraid and so scared of Sami because we were trying to make Sami our Stone Cold Steve Austin and make him our star. Whereas many other heels may find themselves in a position where they want to look strong or they want to look just as good, as the babyface that they're feuding with, when in reality you're going to do so much better business if you make it more about Sami, because if more people, like Sami and what he's doing and want to pay money to see Sami Callihan, then it's going to be good for the rest of the card the whole way down. And because Sami knew how unselfish I was being, in turn, he did everything that he could to make me look like $1 million. I remember hearing a quote one time that the best matches that have ever happened are when two guys go in the ring and try to outsell each other. And that really, really is the case. That was exactly what me and Sami did. I tried to make Sami look like he was God, and in turn he did the same thing for me. So we had like a really, really cool little feud going because I was trying to have that complete mindset of I'm just trying to get Sami over and I'm trying to get him over. And then also the mindset of being confident in your abilities and knowing that even though people hate your guts and they want to see you get destroyed, I'm confident in knowing that I could wrestle anyone on the CZW roster and do that same program that I did with Sami and get the same point across and not have to be afraid that I'm not going to get booked or not used anywhere because I'm not getting quote-unquote over like the babyface should be getting over. And these fans, too, who come to CZW and Ring of Honor are so smart that when you have a heel who's doing that job of getting the babyface so over, they know that you're doing everything you can to do so, and in turn you kind of get respected. It's like one of those like love-to-hate situations where they'll hate you because they know that's what you want, but they still enjoy watching you wrestle. So I think that's the two biggest things, man, is just being really unselfish and knowing what your job really is, and that is to make the babyface as awesome as possible, and then just believing in yourself and knowing that, this is just the role that you're being put in right now and just make the absolute best of it.
Great mindset. Adam Wells, you?
Yeah, in keeping with, the whole heel babyface dynamic, for you personally, I've seen interviews with guys who say that it's naturally easier to be a heel and get everybody to hate you. In your experience, which do you prefer to do, play a heel or face, and why?
Well, initially, like you had mentioned earlier, I definitely preferred being a heel. Just because I was so much more comfortable. And it is that mental mindset of it's so much easier to get people to hate you than it is to love you. And then I found myself in a really interesting situation, starting in CZW, where I'm this skinny 18-year-old pretty boy who's trying to get over with the CZW crowd, and I don't do death matches, and I really don't do anything insane when it comes to high-flying maneuvers. Like, I'm by no means a Ricochet or a Pac. So I knew it was going to be a challenge for me to get over with the CZW audience. And I think that's what was stuck in my head because the heel thing had worked so well that when I came to Ring of Honor, I was scared to be a babyface because, like I said, I wanted to do so well and I was so comfortable as a heel. But then as time went on and I've become more comfortable, being a babyface, I really, really enjoyed both. I like being a heel. Like my run in CZW was a blast. But then also I like being that underdog that fights from underneath as a babyface too, because the heels in Ring of Honor know exactly what they're doing, and they can, like I was saying earlier about that mindset of getting the babyface over. Everyone I've worked with in Ring of Honor who's been a heel has been so unselfish in making me, look as good as I possibly can, and in turn the fans have received me for that. So I really enjoy both for completely different reasons. But, it took me a little while to get comfortable as a babyface, but now I really feel like I've come into a little groove as a babyface.
Calvin?
Yeah, Adam, you sound like a seasoned veteran. You've only been in the business for a couple of years, but your knowledge is immense. And going to some place like Ring of Honor, where you have to follow in the footsteps of a Christopher Daniels, CM Punk, or Bryan Danielson, how much pressure is there on you to follow in the footsteps of such a prestigious company?
Oh, man, like everyone in Ring of Honor says this, and it's so true, is the pressure that wrestlers put on themselves to perform at the absolute top level that they can is it's insane. It's not just like a weekend thing where it's like, okay, we got a big match this weekend, let's really prepare for it. It's like a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week deal where mentally, you're just trying to prepare yourself for this, for wanting to perform at that level that you have to. Because as much pressure as that's put on you by say the promoters and even by the fans who you want to just perform so well for and do so well for, the pressure is tenfold. From guys from the own individual wrestler wanting to just improve and get better constantly. Like every single weekend, every match that I have, I always want to go out and just give them the absolute best show that I can and make sure that they walk away going, oh man, I really enjoyed that Adam Cole match. Whatever my job is to do that night. But yeah, the pressure is tremendous, and you learn to deal with it over time too. Because I remember when I first started wrestling, man, it would be like I'd have a match on a Saturday, and I wouldn't be able to eat or sleep Friday. I wouldn't eat at all on Saturday because it would just run right through me. I was so nervous. Thank God I'm past that point where now I can eat like a normal human being and sleep like a normal human being. But yes, the pressure is still there, and it'll always be there. And I think that's part of, why pro wrestling is so addicting, because then you get that adrenaline rush and you get that fix, and you're like, oh man, this is exactly why I do this, for that fix and that drug of, pro wrestling that we get, especially when there's a really hot crowd involved. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that the pressure will never go away, and that's certainly one of the more challenging things of pro wrestling. But I know that comes in this line of work. So,
MC.
Yeah, you talked about following in the footsteps of, CM Punk and those guys. How much pressure do you put on yourself to follow in their footsteps a step further and someday end up in WWE, and how much does that will that define your career, or how much will you let it define your career?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I got into wrestling with the mindset of I wasn't going to half-ass this at all. Like, I totally knew from the beginning that I never wanted this to be a hobby. I never said to myself, I'd be content with wrestling once a month at my local promotion that's, 30 minutes from my house. I always wanted this to be my job and my income, and this is what I did for a living. And I never really set a specific goal for myself in the sense of, okay, this is exactly what I want to do and this is exactly where I want to end up, because I feel like that in turn could actually hurt your process of like enjoying the journey and, just improving in every facet that you can. So like I said, I told myself from the beginning that I would, every single weekend there was a show, whether I was booked or not. When I first started, I would, drive ridiculous hours and miles to go to a show to help set up a ring with the hopes of meeting a promoter that I could maybe give a tape to maybe get a tryout match at the next show, with the hopes that I could advance and go farther. And then as my career has progressed and I've accomplished more and more goals that I've set for myself along the way, my goals have also in turn grown. Like, for example, Ring of Honor. Getting to Ring of Honor was a big goal of mine, and now I'm there. And, being in the main event was a big goal of mine, and now I've done that. And, continuing to grow as a Ring of Honor performer is huge, and getting to travel overseas. Like, I did my first tour of Japan. I've been to Europe 3 times. I potentially have some stuff in South America lined up. So, like, that's continuing to grow also. So, in turn, obviously the WWE is something that I'm not going to kid myself and say that I wouldn't love to have a WrestleMania moment someday, because that's certainly something I would love and something that I would strive for. Even though I'm, extremely happy in Ring of Honor right now, by all means, I always try to set my goals very, very high and kind of take this as far as I can possibly take it. So we'll see kind of what the future holds, but I don't lose sleep over, where I want to end up or what I want to do, because right now I'm very, very happy and growing at a rate I would like to, and just continuing to live the dream, man. Just living the dream.
And speaking of your future, now we can get to the title shot. Dayton, Ohio, April 29th, dude. You fought Davey Richards, you won. This was supposed to be a proving ground match. It is now for the world title. How do you feel going into this match about your chances to win the title? Davey Richards is a tough son of a bitch, man.
Yeah, I definitely know that firsthand, how tough he is. I'm ecstatic about this whole opportunity, and the fact too that Davey coming out and saying that it should be a title match, and now it's become a title match. It's a really, really big night for me. It's kind of my shot to prove to everybody that I do have what it takes, because a lot of people are still questioning my win over Davey at the 10-year anniversary show, because it was indeed a tag team match. Whereas now it's totally put up or shut up time, because it's a one-on-one match. It's for the world title. It's in Dayton, Ohio. So I'm really, really excited about it. Obviously, the pressure I put on myself to deliver and perform at this show is unlike any pressure I put on myself before. So I'm certainly ready for it, though. And April 29th is going to be a big night for me, win, lose, or draw. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity, man.
All right, well, we got to warn you before we send you out of here. We got to warn you. The Ring Rust, when guys come on Ring Rust Radio, they get the rub. Okay, we had Roderick Strong on the show. He won the TV title. We had Michael Elgin on the show. Boom, he puts on a 5-star match with Davey Richards. Listen, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying you just got a title shot. You've just been on the show. I'm just saying, put on a 5-star match, dude. We got to get this rub thing going. We got to get the trend on Twitter like that. That's all. And listen, we wish you the best of luck, dude. We hope you win the world title so you can come back and tell us all about it. Listen, plug whatever you got to plug, buddy. The floor is yours.
Thank you, man. I have a Twitter. It's at Adam Cole Pro. I also have a website, too, for anyone's interested if they want to keep up to date on my schedule and everything that's going on with me in my life. And, of course, there's a nice little merchandise section there also. It's www.adamcolepro.com. And you can check that out there. And that also has a link to, my Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube account and things like that. So, if you get a chance, go check that out, please.
And listen, if you get him on Ring of Honor, catch him, he's going to win the world title next weekend. And thank you so much, Adam Cole, for coming on the show. We really appreciate the time, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.